Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. We're gonna take a look at the markets and at the crypto news of the day as always, and we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump straight into it. Let's refresh CoinMarketCap right here. Now today has been a relatively uneventful day with the crypto markets at much the same level they were at yesterday, but most importantly here they have not crashed back down. The longer we can stay at this level the better. Now if you're watching the channel you know exactly what has been going on the last 2 weeks or so. We have seen a pretty spectacular crash, and yesterday for the first time we have made some serious growth again. The entire market gained over 10% of value overnight, and I was a bit worried that we might instantly drop most if not all of that again, but for now at least we seem to be holding on. Bitcoin is slightly outperforming the rest of the market, growing its dominance to 54.1%, but it was in the 53 range for a while now, so that is not that much of a difference. The big loser in the top 10 today, Bitcoin Cash SV. For the second day in a row, it is the biggest loser here. I have predicted days ago that I think this will not remain in the top 10 for a very long time. Now currently there's still a pretty big distance to the number 10 to Cardano, but I believe that will be slowly but surely closed in the coming weeks before Bitcoin Cash SV drops out. I do believe most people are only holding onto their Bitcoin Cash SV right now to sell them off, to dump them once they reach whichever price they want to sell at. I think for a lot of people that is probably $100, which is why we've seen it test and break through 100 multiple times before falling back down. We will see how long this coin continues being around, currently worth about half of which of regular Bitcoin Cash ABC, which is $182 to its $93. But interestingly, the price hike yesterday, which was, I believe, the strongest price hike since spring. Yesterday in the video I called it the most impressive day since summer. I believe we now know that it was the best day for Bitcoin since either April or May. And with that, we also saw interest in Bitcoin increase significantly to the highest level since April. And this article from CoinDesk, of course, all the articles in this video are linked in the description. Google's Trend Explorer reveals the weekly number of worldwide searches for the keyword Bitcoin has reached levels not seen since the first week in April. While the exact number of searches accrued so far this week is not clear, data from Google reveals Bitcoin searches in the past 3 days alone made up 17% of its all-time high weekly search volume set from December 17th to 23rd, 2017. At that time, the cryptocurrency was trading around its record high, while at the time of writing it is valued at $4,167. And here you can see it on the graphic pretty impressively. You see here, since November 4th roughly, the number of search queries has gone up significantly. It looks to have about doubled since then. After months of slowly but surely falling further and further, there appears to be significantly increased interest in Bitcoin and by extension cryptocurrencies in general again. Now of course search queries for Bitcoin means that either people are looking to figure out what Bitcoin is, say if they've been hearing about it in the news, or people are looking to get recent Bitcoin news or to buy Bitcoin. So in any of these scenarios, that means mainstream interest in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrencies, because people who are already in the market, who are already well acquainted, when they want news, they will go to their favorite crypto news website, they will go on social media, they will go on YouTube. They won't be searching Bitcoin on Google. When they want to buy, they know which exchanges they are using, and they don't need to Google Bitcoin to figure out what it is. So this increase for the first time since, well, actually the last time we saw it go up was around here. That looks to be January, maybe February of 2018. So we have seen 8 months of falling interest, and now it is going up for the first time. That could be an early sign of the prices going up again in the future as well. This could be significant increased interest, and that could mean more money flowing into Bitcoin and into cryptocurrencies in general in the future. And I don't think we need to read the rest of this article. Of course, you can read it yourself if you want to. But just the fact of the search volumes going up like this was what I found so interesting. Now, some of that will almost certainly be driven by people hearing about the crypto prices crashing. But even if people were looking for negative reasons, even if people were looking to figure out why the prices are going down, or to laugh at the misfortune of people who are invested in the crypto markets, who knows which articles, which websites people ultimately found and read. Some people might have had their minds changed about crypto, some people might have learned about crypto, and it might ultimately be good for the markets. Now to some actual news. Hardware wallet Ledger Nano S announces support for Monero. Now, full disclosure, I have an affiliate link with Ledger. The link is in the description. If you were to buy one of their products through that link, I would get a small amount of the profits at no extra price for you. But just so you know, I do have an involvement with the company in that way. To this point, I have made no money from that affiliation, but just so you know, that exists. But anyways, I thought this was relevant. Cryptocurrency hardware wallet manufacturer Ledger has updated its support of altcoin Monero for its Nano S device, the company confirmed in a press release shared with Cointelegraph November 29th. The French company, which along with Trezor and KeepKey is one of the oldest hardware wallet manufacturers in the industry, said the Nano S was already compatible with Monero's latest GUI 0.13 release. We are thrilled to welcome another top 10 cryptocurrency to the Ledger platform with Monero, CEO Eric Lachavec, I probably mispronounced that, commented, adding, "With this addition, Ledger devices now cover 90% of the entire crypto market capitalization." Like its competitors, Ledger continues to focus on supporting as many of the popular cryptocurrencies as possible, as security of holdings becomes an ever more pressing issue for investors. And we've seen Ledger expand their support for a lot of varying coins greatly lately. They have also started offering institutional custody services, as well as creating new wallet solutions. So there's a lot happening there. Very good to hear that they're now supporting Monero. Of course, Monero, one of the major cryptocurrencies, has also been around for a while. We see it currently number 12. They called it a top 10 in the article. That is not currently true, but Monero is frequently in the top 10. Before Bitcoin SV made its way into the top 10, you always had Cardano, Tron, and Monero pretty much fighting over who would be 9 and 10 and who would be 11. So we've seen it frequently in the top 10. Currently, it is actually not a top 10 coin, but you know, always good to see more support for these. Ultimately, if you really want to be sure that your coins, that your tokens are safe, you should probably invest in a hardware wallet. That doesn't necessarily have to be one made by Ledger, but that is generally the one of the safest options to have. Kin, something that I don't talk about that much, but a project that I very much watch with a lot of interest and I'm personally very interested in. They have partnered with Tapatalk, which is a massive mobile forum platform that has a bunch of subforums. Think of it a bit like say Reddit, where it's a big platform, but you're likely to be using individual subplatforms. That is pretty much how Tapatalk is. They are going to reward their users, and they have 300 million of them. So this is a huge platform with Kin tokens. Tapatalk, the mobile forum application with an aggregate registered user base of 300 million, has struck a deal with the Kin Foundation to reward its users with cryptocurrency for posting quality content on the platform. Announced on Wednesday, the partnership will see Tapatalk, whose platform hosts 200,000 forums based in 186 countries, seeking to build engagement by rewarding users with Kin tokens for creating worthwhile content. Tapatalk's integration of Kin marks a noteworthy development in our expansion to reach new users and cultivate further engagement within the broader forum community, said Winter Wong, CEO of Tapatalk. The mechanics of Kin will surely benefit existing forum users, while bringing new users into the fold of vibrant, active online discussion communities. Tapatalk will also provide users with the ability to tip one another using their Kin balances, similar to the variety of third-party cryptocurrency tipping apps that are popular on Twitter and Reddit. People contribute to online communities on a daily basis, but there isn't an easy way for them to reward other users for their contribution to the discussion, said Danny Fishel, president of Kin. We believe that Tapatalk will be a strong example of how Kin easily facilitates peer-to-peer transactions in apps once users begin rewarding each other for the creation of meaningful, engaging content. In June, Kin announced that avatar-based social network IMVU would allow users to earn Kin on the platform, though this partnership has not yet reached the implementation stage. Kin, which was created by chat app Kik and initially funded through a $97 million initial coin offering, has gone through a number of development alterations since its token sale last year. So, very, very interesting here. I've talked about Kin a bit on the channel, and what I always praise about them is that they really go for getting their tokens into the hands of a lot of people. Now, Kin, of course, made by the people behind the Kik messaging software. Kik is one of the world leaders as far as direct messaging is concerned, but a lot of people do not know Kik because it's very much used by some communities and some countries only, and it's not as well known as, say, WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, but or Telegram. But Kik is absolutely huge, and these people have now made the Kin cryptocurrency. Now, Kin is a platform that a lot of development is happening on top of. A lot of apps being developed that are being actively pushed. A lot of them are already on app stores for, I believe, both Android and iPhone. So they've made sure that apps are available. But the big hurdle, of course, if you want to create a dApp platform that uses a token, is you need to get a certain number of users to actually hold and use that token. And what Kin has been doing, they have been going for large platforms where they can distribute their tokens in a meaningful, integrated way to a lot of people. So working with Tapatalk here is just about the perfect thing that they could possibly do. Now, I don't think we have any details about how the system will work yet. If you've been using online forums, especially a couple of years ago when online forums were a bigger thing than they are now, like the early 2000s to mid 2000s, before social media took over in the way it has, were pretty much the golden age for online forums. But if you remember that time, a lot of online forums had ways to tip each other with, a lot of them called it karma or similar things, but those were usually just for show. You couldn't buy anything with them, they didn't have any monetary value. Now using a cryptocurrency is pretty much a perfect fit there. If someone makes a forum post you really appreciate, you can tip them a small amount, you can show your appreciation, you can give them some tokens, and other people will see that. That will encourage making better content, that will encourage a better atmosphere on these platforms. So very, very interesting. Steam has done something similar on the Steemit platform. But very interesting. The only question I have right now is how this will be distributed. How many Kin will people get? Will it be possible to get these tokens without having to buy a badge initially? I'm hopeful that they'll just give a couple tokens to every single member to stimulate this in the beginning, but I do not believe we have any details about that yet. But either way, it's very, very interesting. This is Kin working at exactly what they need to do. If they want to be a platform for dApps, if they want to be the cheap, inexpensive, easy to use cryptocurrency token that is used for social communication, for social media, for apps, for everything, they are on the right track, and you should definitely watch them closely. And also, Kin is just super, super dirt cheap right now. Actually, I wanna take a quick look here. I don't know if they're even in the top 10 right now, top 100. But Kin, I consider Kin to be extremely, extremely undervalued. Oh my god, is it not in the top 10 right now? Wow. Here. Currently 0.00031 US dollars. A number so small, you need to use these, what are they called, logarithmic numbers? You can't present it in a normal Bitcoin number. This is 1 cent. This is 3/1000th of a cent. It's less than 1% of a cent right now for each token. But we have seen them before. Look here. They were at 1 decimal point before a cent before. So even if they just go to their all-time value again, the value will go up like what, 30-fold? I'm sorry, I'm losing track of all these zeros and stuff, but even they are so undervalued right now with so much going on there. Even if they just return to the price during the last bull run, you're making 30 times profits here. So I personally think Kin is an incredibly good, underrated investment. Number 131. We're seeing how much they are doing to build connections. Kin is going to be big. Kin is going to be big. It might not ever be a top 10 coin, but Kin is definitely going to be something that we'll still be talking about in a couple of years. And they are working with these giant platforms. They are actively developing apps on top of their platform. I think we're going to hear a lot more about Kin in the future. Like, take a look right now, read up on Kin, maybe get some if you feel safe about that, but even if it just returns to its old value, it was 1 decimal point from a cent. Now it is 3 decimal points from a cent. Honestly, in my opinion, there are very little ways you could lose money from this, unless the platform dies completely, which I doubt will happen. But just to have it said, not a professional financial advisor here, do your own research. And last but not least, we have prominent venture capitalists now saying that Litecoin has no reason to exist, and let's look at what exactly was going on here. In a discussion at the Consensus Invest 2018 event, Ariana Simpson, a venture capitalist, and Lucas Nazi, a crypto researcher, spoke about the bear market and about Litecoin and how Charlie Lee, its founder, sold all of his Litecoin at the peak. In response to Litecoin's end-of-the-year prediction, Lucas Nazi, director of research at Dark Crypto, said he doesn't believe in Charlie Lee's investment in Lightning Labs and putting out the narrative of Litecoin being an on-ramp to Lightning Network. Ariana Simpson, a venture capitalist at an autonomous partner, added to Nazi's point and said that Litecoin doesn't have a reason to exist. She continued, "It has literally no reason to exist. It's like a multi-billion-dollar test. I'm sorry, it's a very, very expensive testnet, and I think the narrative of its silver to Bitcoin's gold is, excuse the language, but I'm just quoting here, bullshit. There is no need for that." And that wasn't all she had to say here. And Charlie Lee dumped his entire stake at the peak of the market to avoid a conflict of interest. Like, I'm sorry, if you look, by the way, at their balance of treasury, which is public, they have like a joke, so I'm not particularly bullish on the prospects of it. So she's saying a lot here, and I don't think we need to unpack all of it, but honestly, I'm unsure if Litecoin does have a reason to exist. I can't, often when people say such over-the-top things about coins, I very much try to argue against them. I'm always for taking a very measured stance. It's usually not as simple as black or white. But if we really look at what Litecoin is, the narrative is usually either silver to gold or testnet. Now, we don't need another token as a testnet. We have plenty testnets. We do not need to invest in testnets. And silver to Bitcoin's gold, now, back when Litecoin was created, that made sense, because it was the only other player in the space. If you weren't around back then, Litecoin being created was a big deal. But nowadays, the simple fact of the matter is that Litecoin does not do anything that other coins do not do. Litecoin does not have an active development team to the same degree that a lot of other major coins have. It very much functioning as a testnet for Bitcoin and for stuff being built on top of Bitcoin in many ways means it has to stick to that outmoded technology. Now, for Bitcoin, it doesn't matter as much that its technology is outdated, because it has the prestige associated with being number one, with being the oldest one, with being the initial one, with being on all the platforms that people see it as a store of value. But then you have to wonder, why do we need what is essentially a carbon copy of it to still exist? This is a similar argument you can make about hard forks of Bitcoin. Why do they need to exist? The simple fact is, most of the major cryptocurrencies we have today, with the exception of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and that is pretty much it, possibly the Bitcoin hard forks, they have significantly advanced technology over older generations of cryptocurrencies. They are faster, they are cheaper, they are more scalable, they are more secure. There's no way to deny that. There is absolutely no way to deny that. Those are just technological truths. They also, most of them, have an active development development community. They have features that these older blockchains do not have. They have use cases that these older blockchains do not have. Most of these newer coins, the people behind them are actively working on applying them to new situations, getting them into new markets, doing a bunch of things with them. And if you're then looking at Litecoin, if it can't do any of that, and if its only point essentially is to be a very, very expensive testnet, as she puts it here, then it really does not have a reason to exist. We don't need a Bitcoin testnet to be a top 10 cryptocurrency. Why would anyone want to invest in that? And silver to its gold, that is some catchphrase that somebody came up with at some point. Now, I'm already very critical about considering Bitcoin the gold standard of the crypto world, because while it was incredibly innovative, and it definitely has a special position of prestige, if we're looking at what it actually does, it is not the gold standard of what we have today. If anything, it is the state of 10 years ago. And all these other cryptocurrencies are doing everything Bitcoin does, and they're doing it better, they're doing it faster, they're doing it more securely, they're doing it with additional features, they're doing it with an active developers community behind that is willing to do updates that are necessary and to evolve with the times. And if all Litecoin has going for it is that it can essentially be used as a testnet, and that some people consider it the silver of cryptocurrency, well, there's no point. There's no point to that. There is no point to Litecoin existing at this point. Now, I don't think you should sell off your Litecoin. Now, Litecoin, just because enough people are repeating that Litecoin is the silver to Bitcoin's gold meme, that is enough to keep Litecoin in the public conscience as a major player in the cryptocurrency world. It doesn't matter that Litecoin doesn't really have a point for existing. As long as people perceive it as being special and having some kind of value, that will be enough to keep up its value. The question is rather, should it have that value? Probably not. Does it have it? Yeah, it does. And as long as it does, it will probably be a relatively safe thing as far as safety goes in the cryptocurrency market to put your money into. Would I personally invest in it? No, because I don't think it serves any purpose. I don't think it has any future potential. But it will always be there, as long as people repeat that narrative. I just think it's so refreshing to see someone go to a cryptocurrency event and get on stage and just outright say this openly. That is very, very good to hear. And as we have seen also, there is very little incentive to work on Litecoin, with some of the major people behind it not owning tokens anymore, so they're not making any personal profits if the coin does well. With it very much functioning as a copy of Bitcoin, there's no point to develop based on it. If you want to develop an actual application, you're going to go with literally any other cryptocurrency because they're more technologically advanced. So what does that leave for Litecoin? It leaves a permanent limbo where it exists, but why? There's no point to it. There is no point to it, especially in 2018. There was much more of an argument to be made for Litecoin when it was first created. There's very little of that left. And I'm a bit worried when people talk about Litecoin as being one of the best things in the crypto world, because even if you do think that it should have a special position for having been the second one ever created, the second major cryptocurrency, even if you think it should have a special place for that, it still can't do anything. That is the simple fact. It can't do anything, at least not in a way that makes it stick out from the crowd. And what perspective do you have then? Which future perspective do you have if you can't do anything? I'm gonna leave you guys pondering this, if there's any point for Litecoin to still exist. Now, like I said, this doesn't necessarily mean that Litecoin is a bad investment, though I would certainly say that it's probably one of the less potential one of the investments with less potential in the cryptocurrency world, at least among the major coins. I think there's others that have way more they might be doing in the future that they might be used for, that might push the prices up, that are much more likely to find some kind of mainstream adoption. As it stands right now, Litecoin has a prestigious image because of that meme of it as the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And as long as enough people repeat that, it will be that. That is simply how markets work. But, you know, talk to me, guys. Am I missing something really obvious here? Is there a specific reason we need Litecoin? Is there anything it does that no other coin does better? Do let me know. With that, I'm gonna end today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, I do these every single day. Make sure to subscribe. If you're already subscribed and you really like my videos, there are ways to support me in the description. I appreciate any small donation. In the description, you will also find my social media pages and links to all these articles. Thanks for watching.